Sir, is Aditya Satish with us?
Yeah, he's there. He's there. Somebody is annotating. Just check on Milan.
Sir, is Aditya?
Aditya is there. Milan, Aditya is there.
Aditya is there.
Aditya, just say a hi
Yes,
to
ma'am. Hi,
Milan.
ma'am. Yeah. Hi.
Okay. Hi, Aditya.
Hi.
Good evening to everyone present here today. We'll just get started in a few minutes. Thank you for coming.
Aditya, just say a hi
Yes,
to
ma'am. Hi,
Milan.
ma'am.
Okay. Are we ready to go?
Go ahead, Milan.
Okay. Very good evening to everyone present here today. I hope you'll have had an amazing day, and I think it's going to be even more better. And you're going to be leaving this session with a very pleasant mind, very inspirational speaker that we have today with us. And I call Aditya Satish to give us the opening welcome speech and tell us a little bit about our speaker.
So, good evening, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to all attending this webinar. I welcome all the directors, deans, HODs, and faculties who have given their time to attend this session. I also welcome all the members and coordinators of this Innovation Club, along with the students attending this meeting, in spite of their busy academic schedule. And I find immense pleasure in welcoming our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Sanjay Dattatri sir, who is an innovator and an entrepreneur. He's a postgraduate from Regional Engineering College, Trichy, a software engineer by profession, and he has worked in the software industry for more than 25 years and has traveled widely around the world. In 1998, he turned as an entrepreneur and started his first software development company, working on engineering solutions to large companies such as Group 4, Falak, and Singapore Airlines. Then, after a brief stint with iFlex, where he helped architect and build branch automation software, he started his second venture called Bazaar Buzz, where they build software in the area of brand analytics that use natural language processing to understand what people felt about various products, brands, and companies. This company was subsequently sold to WNS Global. Sir is one of the investors and ex-directors of Old is Gold, India's first and only exclusive store for senior citizens. This idea came to the company by personal experience in looking after parents who were unwell. He decided to start a company to help others in similar situation. And right now, he's thinking on what to build next. We're really thankful to you, sir, for taking out your precious time for us. And thank you, sir. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube, so I request the other participants who are not able to join to catch up on YouTube. And now I request Sanjay Dattatri, sir, to take over.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for this wonderful opportunity to address you all. Special thanks to Dr. Durai Pandian and for thinking of me as the speaker for this evening. And to Ms. Annie for having coordinated this program. See, briefly, today I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship and what it means to be an entrepreneur. So if you take my career path, I started off as an employee in an organization called Computer Resources International, which was a offshore software development company with the headquarters in Denmark. So largely they wanted our skills to either go to Denmark and work or sit here and work on products for the Danish company. So that's how it started. When I went to Denmark, I heard a lot of people say, yeah, you're from India, you all know how to do software development, but you are all individuals who can contribute. You are not managers, you are not project leaders, you are not companies that make products for other people. So the general idea I got was that people looked at us as manual labor. It might be software. We are not digging roads. We are still building software, but we were still considered manual labor. And it was early days of the software industry. So it was understandable that we weren't building products at that stage because we had just then gotten into the software revolution in India. So this attitude from there got me thinking, saying this is not how we should be in the long run. We should look at moving up the value chain. So when I came back, this was 6 years after I joined my first job. I joined a friend of mine and started an offshore development company. So we continued to do a lot of work for the Danish companies, but sitting from India. Gradually, this gave us the confidence to actually start building products on our own. So the next stage of evolution was to build products. So we looked at what are the problems in the market and how we could go about solving that using software. And so we started building products that helped companies sell those products to other people and improve their performance. So that was in a company called Com7. So these were products that we built for other companies. So even though we were building products, the products were not owned by us. So then the next product, the Bazaar Buzz company that I built, there we actually built a full product, which was our own, which was used by a lot of Fortune 100 companies. We had IBM, we had Lenovo, we had companies like Levi's, Coke, Pepsi, Procter and Gamble, all of them using our software to our product to actually find out what customers were saying about their brands and their company and how they were performing. So this was the next stage in the evolution of a software company. I was wondering what to do next, and I found that my team of people who are working with me, they're brilliant engineers, brilliant software engineers, but they were finding it really difficult to find a job, a good job. So here we have a lot of companies looking for good engineers, and I can see a lot of good engineers who are looking for jobs, but the two didn't get to meet properly. They put their resume on Naukri, but it didn't pan out because there's so much junk in the database. So it was very difficult to stand out from the crowd. So that gave me an idea for a company called Jobs by Ref. Now, this Jobs by Ref was a referral-based recruitment platform. The basic premise, 2 or 3 things it did. One was it checked how genuine a resume is. So the people who are actually genuine got higher ranks than people who fake their resume. So we used, again, natural language processing and intelligence to find out if the resume was genuine. So this was one of the first of its kind. The other thing we did was to use the social and professional networks of employees to reach out to potential candidates. So this again is a very innovative strategy, because what it does is if you are, let's say it's AMET, right? AMET is looking for teachers. The chances are there are lots of teachers in the social and professional network of the existing faculty. So if you can use the social and professional networks of the existing faculty to promote the job opening, then you get better candidates. So this was, so slowly from building software for other countries, I wanted to build software for India that actually helped Indians get better, do better, and make life easier for Indians. So again, part of the evolution from building software to products to our own product to a product that was helping India. After this mother bedridden for about 5 to 6 years. And during that time, it was a very big struggle to find ways to keep my mother comfortable. Didn't know where to buy what diapers to choose, how to use them, which doctor to reach out to, who made house calls, what kind of medical equipment was available for home use that would make life easier for my mother. These were questions that didn't have any answers. Doctors will say you can discharge your mother today and take her home, but they didn't have the time to explain to me how I could look after her once she reaches home, because she was completely bedridden. So then we learned it the hard way. We read up, we used internet to find out how to do various things, how to turn my mother, how to change her dress, how to keep hygiene at home. All of that we had to learn from scratch. So this got me thinking that there must be somebody who fills the gap between the doctors and people like us who really are not equipped to look after people at home. So a friend of mine at that time started Old is Gold store. So I joined him at that time because I thought it was a brilliant way to give back to society. You see, in India, we revere our elders, and whenever we see them, we fall at their feet and pay our respects and so on. But when it comes to really looking after them, we aren't doing much. The government has not done much, and the private sector also has not done much in this area. So I decided it would be a wonderful thing to have a one-stop shop under which we give guidance and products and help people look after their parents better. So that was the idea behind Old is Gold store. Today we have an online presence as well as 2 retail outlets, one in Anna Nagar and one in Indira Nagar, Adyar, where you can actually go look at the products, get advice on various aspects of caregiving, and thereby we fill in the gap. Ideally, doctors should be guiding us, but unfortunately they are very busy. So there needs to be somebody in between who is capable of, who's knowledgeable enough to guide people who are caregivers. So as you can see from software products and solutions for other people, gradually my career has moved closer towards how to help a few people in our society. So it doesn't matter if I don't reach out to 1 million people now, but if I can help 5 people look after their parents better every day, that is a great advantage. So that's kind of a quick summary of the evolution of my thought process as an entrepreneur. So why does some of these, what I have spoken so far has some answers to the question, why become an entrepreneur? So there's a very famous saying by somebody, we don't know who it is who said it, which is, if you don't have big dreams and goals, you'll end up working for someone that does. So that's kind of the first driver for entrepreneurship. Do you want to do something? Do you want to achieve something? If you do, then you can take the initiative and do it. Otherwise, somebody else will take the initiative and you can work, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. But if you have large dreams, then you have to grab it and you have to go with it. So that's one reason for why people become entrepreneurs. Warren Buffett has said that someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So again, this is about innovation, and this is about entrepreneurship, and this is about taking initiative. As an entrepreneur, we aren't focused totally on just the monetary aspect of it. We have a passion, we have a drive, we want to achieve something. And we know that there will be people who will benefit out of this. So that is another significant driver for entrepreneurship. The third thing is, a ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not why a ship was built, right? So we are all safe in our own jobs. We have a steady salary, but is that what we want to do? So some of us like doing that. Some of us, people have to contribute for any enterprise to work, for any enterprise to become successful. So it's not necessary that all of us have to be entrepreneurs. But if we have to be an entrepreneur, then we can't be in the harbor in a safe place. We have to necessarily take the risk and move out into the open seas. So that's another aspect about entrepreneurship. Finally, Albert Einstein has said this: try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. So becoming a man of value automatically makes you a man of success, but then it puts into perspective why you want to become an entrepreneur. So you want to become an entrepreneur because you want to provide value. So if you are of a mindset where you want to make a significant difference in the quality of life of people around you, then entrepreneurship is a way of doing that, because you get to control some of the aspects of what you want to do and how you want to do. But entrepreneurship is not a simple thing to do. Invariably, we hear about success stories and we hear about the huge failures. But most of entrepreneurship is somewhere in between. You don't make huge successes, nor do you face abject failure, but you have shades of these in between. And to be an entrepreneur requires you to have very different skill sets, in fact, very contradictory skill sets. For example, I've just jotted down the traits of an entrepreneur and the belief systems and the attitudes that you need to possess in order to be an entrepreneur. Good or bad, successful or a failure, that is different, because that's not always entirely in our hands. There are so many things outside of our control that actually have an impact on every business. However, to be an entrepreneur first, you have to be ready for success and failure. So you must be able to meet both of these with a certain amount of equanimity. Like Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Which means what? He never gave up. He continued to do that, didn't look at it as a failure, but looked at it as a reason for continuing to look for a solution. So you must be ready to take success. You must be ready to face failure as well. You must be foolish and brave. So Steve Jobs famously said this, right? What did he say? Can anyone tell me? Jobs said something. The foolish part of it is about doing things that other people think can't be done, about taking on things that look nearly impossible. So you still have to be really hungry. So in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to be foolish enough to take on tasks that other people believe can't be done, tasks that seem daunting at first, but still brave enough to take those on, even if other people discourage you or laugh at you or say, how can you do this, or this can't be done, and so on. You still have to be really brave to take on the mantle and say, you know what, you might think it's foolish, but I'm passionate about this. I have an idea and I think it will help people around me. So I'm going to take this up and see how far I can go with it. Which brings us to the next trait. You have to be ambitious and you have to be grounded. Whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. So if you believe a name for myself in this area, I'm going to do something that nobody else has done before. At the same time, you must know what is possible to some extent. Your idea of what is possible might be different from other people's idea of what is possible, but nevertheless, you should know what are the ground realities. For example, you should know that this can be done and this can't be done. If you're basing your entire project on breaking the speed of light, you're not grounded. At the same time, if you're looking for something that is faster than anything else possible today, so if Tesla is building a hyperloop, it is because Elon Musk thinks that is feasible, and it's extremely ambitious because he believes he can do something that nobody else has achieved before. At the same time, he's not talking about traveling faster than the speed of light. So ambitious and grounded. These are usually contradictory traits, but you, as an entrepreneur, you need to have that as well. You have to be negative and positive. So how negative? You have to see the problems that are there around you. So most people say, look at the bright side of things and go on. What happens when you look at only the bright side of things is that you don't find areas where you can solve problems, genuine problems. You are not able to identify problems. So in order to be able to identify problems, you have to have the ability to look at the negatives. And you have to be positive because you have to feel that such a problem can be solved, and it can be solved for the benefit of the people around you. Similarly, you have to be lazy and hardworking at the same time. Again, extremely contradictory. Lazy because you want to look at things and say, you know what, this is too hard a way of doing things. There must be an easier way of doing things. Most inventions have come about because somebody wants to improve on or make things easier. And for that, I think one of the traits that you need to have is a certain amount of laziness. If you're lazy, you're thinking, can I do this in a way that makes it easier for me, right? But solutions don't come that easily. You can be lazy about something, but without hard work, you're not going to solve the problem. So you must be ready for the hard work that is required in order to come up with a solution. You have to be passionate and detached. Again, contradictory. You have to be passionate because you want to solve some problem, you want to do something, you want to make a name, and you're very focused. At the same time, you can't be emotionally attached to your idea. Not always. Because once it reaches a certain stage as an entrepreneur, you might want to bring in some money in order to grow. And in order for you to bring in money, in order to grow, you'll have to give a share of your company to somebody. If you look at your company as completely your own and nobody should have it, then there is no way of bringing in other people into the company. So you need to be detached enough, not emotionally connected completely, in order to be able to say the company is an entity by itself. It needs to grow, it needs to be successful. And I and my company are not the same thing. They are two different entities. So while you have to be really passionate and say, this is my company, I'm going to make a great success out of it, at the same time, you must understand that the company is an entity of its own, and it has a future of its own, and it has to tread a path on its own with you. So you need to again be passionate and detached at the same time. I think it was Oprah Winfrey who said, don't worry about being successful, but work towards being significant, and the success will naturally follow. So if you're passionate about it and detached, not worry about success every moment of the day, not dream about the success and look at success as the only goal. Success, as you know, is defined by different people differently. So your definition of success need not be the definition of somebody else's success. A typical, you know, a typical way of evaluating successes in our world today is about money. But success can be defined and measured in multiple other ways. How many people did I help? How much did I save for my customers? You know, there are other criteria, and it is for you to define what is success for you. So passionate and detachment both have to go hand in hand. Similarly, you will have to be independent and collaborative. Where there isn't a solution and where you think you can make a mark by building a solution, you have to tread your own path, go your own way, and do it, even if it means you're the only one doing it, right? At the same time, you must be open to collaborating with people, because synergies are important. And here, there is a very important attitude that most successful entrepreneurs have. And that is, when they are collaborating, they don't look at what their partners make. They look at how beneficial it is to them to be in that partnership. Now, this is again selfish and selfless. You can see, I'm saying, if I'm partnering with you, I really don't care what you make. I am focused on what I get out of this relationship. Now, if it means only that I want to get the bulk of it and I don't care what you make out of it, then it's selfish. But if you're saying, listen, by being a partner, by partnering with you, out of the company makes an additional 100 rupees, out of which you get 70 and I get 30. That is still great, because without that partnership, I don't get the 30, right? So it is nowhere, in no partnership is everything completely equal. So if you're looking for something completely equal, or something where you are always the bigger beneficiary, you will never collaborate. You will never work together with somebody else. So at some stage, you have to decide whether being in this partnership is beneficial for me or not, without worrying about how beneficial it is to the other partner. And that trait, that ability to see what your benefits are and look at the positives of it, that is what makes a great entrepreneur. Because in every relationship, there is a certain amount of inequality. And if you are going to cry about it and not get into any relationship where you are not the bigger beneficiary, then think of the other entrepreneur on the other side. He's also looking at it the same way, which means that you will never ever get into a partnership with anybody at all, which is a big problem, you see, because you can't solve all your problems from scratch without standing on the shoulders of other people, without building on solutions that are already there. You are not always going to improve upon things. You are not, because you're starting from way down, whereas you could start from where somebody else left off and grow from there. So collaboration is extremely important. The other thing is, most entrepreneurs have a love for money. And money is the driving force, but it need not be. To be a really successful entrepreneur, you must love money and you must have a certain amount of disdain for it. Money will come today, go tomorrow, may come, may not come. If your venture doesn't work, you might have invested a lot of money and you might have lost it. You may lose it. But if money is your sole criteria, then gradually what happens is people tend to become employees, because then there is a steady income and you don't really have to worry about where the next paycheck will come from. At the same time, I find that people who don't care at all about money somehow lose track of what is successful for the company. For an entrepreneur, money might not be the sole criteria, but for most commercial establishments which have investors, which has stakeholders and so on, a company is deemed to be successful only if it makes money, only if it is profitable. So from that sense, you have to have a clear sense of what money means to you. Not as an individual necessarily, but for the sake of the company. If you have to grow, your company has to make money. If you have to reach out to more people, your company has to make more money. If you have to reach out to more people, you'll have to advertise. To advertise, you need money. So you need to earn money. So there has to be a healthy respect for money, and a company's success or failure is defined in terms of how much profit it generates for its stakeholders. So you have to have a healthy respect for money. But at the same time, as an individual, if money is the sole driver, then it's not going to happen, because money comes usually at the end, if at all. It doesn't come. So you have to have the passion, you have to have the drive, you have to have some other things that drive your ambition. I want to help people. I want people to have a better life because of me. I want to improve something. I want to leave a legacy. Those are the things that actually keep you going. Those are the things that drive you. The money is a side effect. It happens afterwards. For many people, money comes much later. If you look at artists and so on, if you take Van Gogh, I don't think he sold a single painting in all his life while he was alive, right? But he was passionate about painting, and he painted such beautiful pictures that even today, each of them is worth millions and millions. But I don't think he saw even a single franc out of all that. So it's the passion that should drive you. But from a company's perspective, it is important to understand money, and it is important that you understand that money is a significant aspect of business, and your company has to generate money. You have to be a leader, and you have to be a follower if you want to be a good entrepreneur. You need to know when to lead, and you need to know when to follow, because you can be an entrepreneur inside an organization. So there's a word called intrapreneurs now, where you can be an entrepreneur and take up activities from within an organization. But that's not just it. It's also about, I said, collaboration, right? It's also about learning from others. It's also about finding out what have others done and how can I do better. In order to be able to do all this, you must be able to actually relinquish a certain amount of leadership. And this also goes to how successful entrepreneurs always have people brighter than them around them. So you might be the overall leader of the company, but for different aspects, you need to have other people who are leaders who you listen to, who are good in their core competency area, who know what they're talking about in various areas of expertise that is required for your company to be successful. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're really very egoistic and you say, I know everything and I'm going to do, then you're limited by your capability alone. And we all know that 2 brains is better than 1 brain, 3 brains better than 2. And if you do not utilize the brilliance of different people, then you are not going to put together a company that does phenomenally well. So while you're the leader of your enterprise, if you don't have the capacity to follow and do things that experts tell you to do, you are going to be a hindrance rather than a somebody who supports the initiative. So the other thing is you have to be blinkered and yet aware. So as you can see, there are various aspects of being an entrepreneur that requires you to have really contradictory traits. And being blinkered is one of them. Being blinkered is, you've seen horses, right? They have these blinkers that they put on, because the guy who's driving the horse cart, he doesn't want the horse to be distracted. So he wants the horse to see just where it is supposed to go and not see the other horse or a dog or a car and get scared and worried and run away. So that's the blinkered approach, meaning you're focused, you have a very narrow focus and you're seeing that. So when you are starting a company, when you're building a company, it is important not to get distracted. So you have to have a blinkered view, a very narrow focused view on your goals. At the same time, you have to be aware of what is happening. You need to know what your competitors are doing. You need to know what other technology is coming up that actually helps you in your goals. You need to read up on these things, and you need to be fully aware of what's happening in your ecosystem. So you need to be, aware of what's happening outside as well. So while you're blinkered, focused on your goals, you must be ready to spend some time at least reading up on what's happening in the overall ecosystem as well. You have to be stubborn and nimble at the same time. Stubborn because lots of people will tell you this won't work, that won't work, and it might take much longer than you anticipated. So you still have to be really stubborn and say, I took this, I have caught the tiger by the tail, I'm going to see it through. At the same time, you must have the wisdom to know this is, I must change course. And this is what entrepreneurs call pivoting. So most companies, if you see, most successful companies would have pivoted at some time. What they started off as their initial idea and what they wanted to achieve versus what they finally achieved may be completely different things, right? Yet it is this stubbornness and the nimbleness, the ability to say, you know what, I'm going to change course, I'm going to pivot now and do what makes sense, because what I started off doing didn't make sense. So that ability to see that also is very important. You have to be patient and impatient at the same time. Patient because, like I said, sometimes your idea might take much longer to bear fruit than you anticipated. Sometimes your customers will delay or delay feedback, delay payment, delay making a decision. So there's a lot of patience that is required in order without a certain amount of impatience, you are not going to push people. And pushing people is absolutely essential because you want people to go at the speed at which you want to go. So for that to happen, you have to push. So whether it is a partner, customer, whether it's your employee, whether it's your boss, your subordinate, it doesn't matter, but you need to be able to push. And for that to happen, you need to have a certain amount of impatience. Finally, your goal in mind. You must always remember why you started on this journey, what you wanted to achieve. And invariably, that is to do something good for society, to do something good for others. And if that's your starting point, and if you have that always in your mind, whether it's 2 people, whether it is 5 people, whether it is 1,000,000 people that you impact positively, it doesn't matter. But if your goal is to ensure that you help people and make the world a better place, then that is something that you must always get back to every day at home. Whatever be the situation, whatever has happened, get back home and say, I am still trying to do something that is good for people. So this is why I started down this path. And that's what keeps you going day after day after day, like a Duracell battery. So this is what I wanted to share with budding entrepreneurs or people who want to go down this path, that it's all right to get into a job because I think you learn a lot there. But at some point in time, if you have the entrepreneurial bug, then I think it is important that you understand all the various contradictory traits that you must have and you must be ready to face in order to be a happy entrepreneur. Otherwise, things get very stressful. Things can get difficult. It's not a bed of roses. It's a bed of roses with a lot of thorns in it. So you need to know what you're getting into, and you need to be able to enjoy the process, not just the destination. The destination is just by the way. It's the journey that matters, and that journey should be happy overall, by and large, every day. And if you have that attitude, and if you have that kind of a vision for your life, you will be a very successful entrepreneur. Of course, you must have a good idea, but those will come. Once you get into the market, once you start seeing, once you start working, and with a little bit of laziness and a little bit of negativity, you will see problems that other people are facing and surviving with and living with, whereas you will find a way to surmount these problems, both for yourself and for a larger number of people. So with a little bit of negativity, with a little bit of positivity, with a little bit of a blinkered view, with a little bit of ambition, with a little bit of hard work, all this put together, you will become a very successful entrepreneur. But at the end of the day, your ultimate goal should be something clear, and it should be beyond money, beyond fame, beyond large house, beyond status. It should be something that is intrinsically good for society at large. This is what I wanted to share. I'll be very happy to take questions. Thank you.
That was a wonderful speech from you, sir. And as a participant, it has made a strong and positive impact on me. Thanks a lot, sir. And participants, if you have any questions, please raise your hand so that Milan can unmute you.
Sir, I'd like to add upon. Thank you so much. That was a very, very insightful speech, very motivational indeed. And the topic on success, I feel that success, like you said, isn't based upon how much money you make in your life. It's not about the bank account balance. It's more about how you touch people's lives. It's more about how you can affect society, not only now, the next future generations also. And I think Annie Sam ma'am would have something to say too. I call upon Annie Sam ma'am.
Sir, it was really so insightful. One point, like every time when we listen to somebody, there is something like, there is a takeaway point always we all have. So today, like there were many. One important thing which I can say is that money is a side effect. A good phrase, sir. Really enjoyed the way you told that for this generation. Because we all go behind money, the youngsters go behind money, wanted a good placement. But make a legacy, money will come behind you. That is a real great point, which I consider. And there were so many of like positivity, negativity. So all these things are really nice and great. And I hope these youngsters in today's generation must have caught up with at least few of those points into their brains. And definitely there is going to be a change because of this today, sir. So nice, sir. Yeah, really got up.
Thank you so much. It's not the youngsters alone who are going after money. They are seeing role models in their parents, in their grandparents, people like us who have shown them that, you know, we have become so capitalistic in some ways. We are going after money. So if they have to look for a role model who's looking at how to improve society, there are very few role models. And that is something that is a fault of our generation. So in order for the youngsters to, you know, do better than us, actually, they have to not take us necessarily as role models. We aren't the right kind of people. We've screwed up the earth very badly. Don't look at us for inspiration. Find out what we have done wrong. That will give you a whole bunch of ideas to make life better for this earth. Because we have cut down trees, we have decimated the natural world, we've made it so toxic that today we can't even go out without wearing a mask. Right? Now, this is not a livable earth. 100 years ago, it was, of course, there were diseases. Of course, medical thing has improved tremendously today. There is a lot of improvement, undeniably. But we have also made the earth less of a beautiful place than it was earlier. If you want to go make changes to make the world a better place, then you have to actually reverse some of the problems that we have created. So don't take whatever advice we give with a pinch of salt. Whatever is relevant to you, you take. But don't give us a blank check. Don't think we have done great and you should do better, but along the same lines. I think you need to have a fresh thought, because the world belongs to you youngsters more than us. We have less time here on this earth than you do. And if you need to be happy, you need to live, you need to coexist with this earth in a way that is enjoyable for everyone. Whether it's an elephant, whether it's a human being, whether it's a plant, whether it's a tree, it doesn't matter. We have to find ways by which we all coexist happily. And so don't take us as, all of us as role models. We aren't the right role model for you. You figure out what your goals should be, and beat your own drum, follow your own path.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I wish that few of our faculty members to just add some comments and value for this. Durai Pandian sir, Captain Sudarshan are all here, so that I can give some more value to this session. Milan, I think you can unmute.
Good evening to all.
Yeah, Leela sir.
Ma'am, I would like to add upon
please,
to...
sir, please, sir, welcome.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, sir, as you said, one important point, I would like to add one more thing. So the way of attitude, see, one thing what I have looked into the successful people, how they approach, how they got those energy to cope up with the day-to-day activities, and how they are moving positively towards their goal. It's all about their attitude. So how they look, how they positively look into the path. So it all depends on attitude. Because why I am expressing this here is because most of the people, younger people, including me, okay, so including me, we are missing this particular point, the way of approaching, the attitude in our life. So we started complaining about things instead of looking it in the positive way. So what we can change. And we also have this kind of a dirt in front of our window. We forget to clear that window time to time. Instead of that, we allow it to just keep on settling on it. So with that, we are looking. So definitely we can't get a clear picture. So I think it's a better time to say this. So that's why I would like to add, because you said much more valuable points. I think this also add upon to it. Thanks a lot for your eye-opening thoughts, sir. Because some of the thing is mind-blowing. It is like positivity with negativity, laziness, and then hardworking. Yes, exactly. So we have to have this balance between both of the things. Then only we can go through this happily. So at the end, we have to smile, have our life very happy, so that we can make others happy. Exactly. Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good point. I think happiness is important, and the way to happiness is not through money, definitely, because you've seen so many rich people, and if rich people were happy, you will know. But you see so many rich people who are not happy. So there isn't one formula for happiness. But then if we do good for others, definitely that's a significantly successful route to happiness. Very good point, sir.
Thank you, sir. I ask all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form, and I request the faculty members to speak up, and also all the participants, if you have any doubts and you want to ask sir a question, please raise your hands.
Students, you can please open up. This is a good platform we are providing for you all. Srinivasan Sudarshanan. Why don't you please unmute him? He's Captain Sudarshan, I think so. Milan?
We have unmuted him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Sanjay Dattatri. I'm Captain Sudarshan. It was a wonderful presentation on your part regarding the change of being a worker, like what you started off in the software field, and then that mindset which the Goras typically have. Even now, for that matter, I think I'm not in the software field, but though There are many of us, many of my friends are there, and the way they treat us and how you never go into the management role at all. And then you, like you rightly told, you realize that it is high time that we manage things rather than just only be a coder and try to get on the other side of the business. So that really involves a lot of things. It's not like how you told, it just told that you started to build something, build a company, but it is very easily said and done. So I really appreciate on your part in trying to be one among the worker and then trying to manage a role and then get things done, or rather operate things from your side. So that was a really good initiative, sir. And I appreciate that very much because still I have a lot of colleagues of mine who are still in different roles. Some have succeeded, like you told, and some have not succeeded. That is a bitter fact of it. It is not that all innovators or all ideas do succeed.
Right.
So that is one thing which we have to keep in mind. That's what I think of whenever we talk of innovation, because everybody talks of great ideas and becoming an overnight star and becoming an Ambani or so that's not always possible.
Yeah.
So like what you told about negativity, I think that fact has to be borne in mind given today's commercialization in every aspect of life. Thank you, sir. Thanks for giving me a platform to share your thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Sudarshan.
Thank you.
I hope Anand sir is there to speak
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm a faculty here in AMET University. What struck me uh, in your experience sharing is the way you put things, sir. I mean, it was so simple. It was so simple. I could see that not a single difficult word was used, or it was very down to earth. I mean, anybody could understand. It is just from listening you speak that way, uh, anybody would love to become an entrepreneur. One question I wanted to ask you. It
Yeah.
was very simple, it was very simple, not big jargons or anything like that. It was very simple. What one question, if it is not very personal, I wanted to ask you. Uh, at what age and with what capital you became an entrepreneur?
98 means I was 30 years old. So I had,
30.
My
30.
first job was 24. After my master's degree, I joined. So then for 6 years, I worked for this company, software development company. Then I started my entrepreneurship. Actually, I had met an Indian in Denmark. So he had a company in Chennai, and he was working on software for some Danish companies. So he was looking for a partner who could be here in India and work to grow the company. So we hit it off in Denmark, and he was happy to have me as his partner. So I joined in as a partner in that software development company. So I was lucky in the sense that I didn't have to invest any money at that stage. And a certain amount of infrastructure was already in place. The company was there, employees were there, so I had to join in and take it forward. So that way my entry into entrepreneurship was quite pain-free. Lucky, not everybody gets this opportunity, but I had that opportunity. But it also meant that I gave up on a few things. When I took on the role of a partner in a company in Chennai, I wanted to be in Chennai. I didn't have any serious interest in going abroad on work on H1B. All my classmates, even today, 90% of my classmates are abroad, right? And those days, it was boom time. Everybody, including the auto driver from Hyderabad, was going to the US. And at that time, I took a conscious decision that I will not go, that I will stay here, build a company, rather than go and work as an individual. So in that sense, there were some decisions that would have been very difficult for other people. The reason why a lot of people didn't stay back was because it was easier to go abroad, find a job, earn in dollars, make a lot of money, put on an accent, get a lot of status. Anybody and everybody looked up to people who had gone abroad and settled down. Oh, US, oh, he's in the US now, he's in Chicago, he's in Illinois, he's in Washington, DC, he's in Nebraska. It was very nice for parents and friends and others to say, talk about people going abroad. Whereas I was sitting in Chennai, and a lot of people have asked me, friends everybody's gone abroad. Why haven't you got an opportunity? So it was looked upon like there was a flaw in me. People thought there was something wrong. I was not qualified. So even though anybody and everybody had the opportunity to go abroad, even then in an environment that seemed so easy to go abroad in, here was one guy who didn't go. And if you asked him, he said he didn't want to go. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe that's not the truth. Why didn't he want to go? So there were a lot of questions that I had to answer, and not just answer. I didn't have to answer everybody, but it was something that I had to face. So those were the difficulties. The money and the setting up of companies, all those happened automatically because it was all already there. So in a sense, I found my life has been very easy so far. And this was one more aspect of how easy it was for me to get into entrepreneurship.
So to an extent, it also means that you meet right people at the right time at the right place.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, entrepreneurship, like I said, there are for success, there have to be a lot of things that have to fall into place. And many of them you have no control over. That is why your company, your idea success and your success should not be combined. You should not look at every failed idea as your failure. Because if you, as an entrepreneur, if you do that, then very quickly you lose all self-respect, you lose confidence, and you won't have the ability to get up, dust yourself, and face the next challenge. The company's failure, how a company does, how good your idea is, how well your idea gets executed. There are several things that have that are outside your control. So you should not look at every failure of a company or an idea as your own failure. If you are not able to separate that, if you don't have that dispassionate view of life, becoming an entrepreneur being an entrepreneur can be really difficult.
Sir, one last question.
Yes.
Have you at any point of your life felt that having become an entrepreneur, you have traded off your family time?
No, actually, being an entrepreneur provides you a greater level of freedom to manage your time than being an employee. Especially in the software industry, I've seen people work 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours a day, having a family life. Whereas I could actually decide how much time I had to spend on what. And I think it's still a personal trait because there are a lot of employees who are able to make that balance, life and family balance. And that is something that each one has to work on. I have never felt it myself because I have been, I think, don't ask my wife. She'll probably have a different answer, but I think I've been there for all the important events, and we've had our holidays together. And so I think we've had, being an entrepreneur has not stolen away my time. I think I've enjoyed every day of my life as an entrepreneur.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your reply. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one question, it looks like you have a great stock of ideas about taking up new ventures. What is your next venture? I hope you'll have some plan. If you don't mind, you can just share about your plans for what next.
Right now, I'm working on a sort of hobby project. For the last 7 years, since I was working on working with seniors outside of the software industry, I'm a very interested software engineer, meaning I love working on software. For the last 7 years, I have not done much in the software area. So two things I'm doing. I don't want to detach myself totally from the senior citizen initiatives. So I'm actually writing a book on how to look after elders at home. So that is one. It's going to be a book that talks to a layperson. So tomorrow, if I have to bring my elder relative, my father or grandfather back from hospital and they need special care, how am I going to do that? So this book is going to help people to do that. So that's one thing I'm doing. The other thing is there's a lot of things have happened in the last 7 years in the IT field. So I'm going back and learning to program. So there is a new platform called, not a new platform, 2-3-year-old platform called React Native. So I took a course on Udemy, and I learned how to. So my wife actually knows the Bhagavad Gita by heart. So she wanted to teach others. So I'm building an app to help others to chant, for her to teach others how to chant the Bhagavad Gita or the Vishnu Sahasranavam or whatever. So it just happened that as a way of learning something, you have to build something. So she said, I want to teach people. So put that together and build something. It's a learning process. Maybe it's a product that will come out at some stage. It's in beta testing now. So it's a 2 people venture, so to speak. I am doing all the software development, all the coding, all the testing, everything. And my wife is doing all the chanting and recording that. Then we sit down together and put it all together in one platform. So that's what I'm doing. It's I'm just taking it a bit easy. No earth-shaking ideas or initiatives yet. But during this time of COVID, it helped me to sit at home and work on something and not just waste time. And it's always good, even from a aging standpoint. As you age, if you don't learn new skills, your brain also requires exercise like that. You have to learn a new language, or you have to use your non-dominant hand to write. You have to learn some new skills. So I'm getting back to my roots, programming, learning that, and so on. So in that sense, it's useful in multiple ways. But these are the 2 initiatives that are going on. Hopefully by October, the next October, the book will be out in the market. And similarly, maybe this December, the app will be out in the market as well. So that's the idea.
The best, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can see lots of fresher students, cadets who have just joined their courses. Don't you have any questions? Lots of freshers, BSc, BE students. If you have any doubts, it's a free platform for you all, dear students and cadets. Virtually, you feel really free to talk. Please utilize. We'll wait for another few seconds if at all anybody would like to, or else we will close the session. Ruben, sir. Shob Ashoka has raised the hand. Milan. So.
So you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. That was a really good session on entrepreneurship. So what I would like to ask is it possible for you to share some information on crowdfunding, sir? Especially the students would like to know how to get the capital if they are going for any entrepreneurship. So if you could throw some light on crowdfunding, it would be good, I guess, for the students.
Right. So basically, the crowdfunding is a way for startups to raise some initial capital, right? So instead of going to an institute or one large high net worth individual angel investor, if your idea has legs, if you believe that your idea has a significant chance of success and you require some funding for that, crowdfunding is a very good option. And there are a lot of platforms that allow you to put your idea up and get from crowdfunding. Sometimes it is people pay up in order to get your product, if you're making a product, in order to get your product cheaper. Sometimes it's just a way of providing an incentive for budding entrepreneurs. But so, the actual crowdfunding to raise funds, to put up your idea, all that, there are standard, these software platforms help you. Before that, what is required is your idea and how to quantify it, how to make a business plan, and make it concrete so people get convinced with the business plan. So there are some basic ground level work that needs to go in before you are able to put up your idea on a platform and solicit funds. So if you have a good idea, then you have to sit down, and this is really hard work in the initial stages, because you need to have a lot of different skill sets. You need to be able to present your idea correctly. You need to be able to say what is the market for it. The typical, if I capture 1% of the market with 7.5 billion people, that kind of thing doesn't work. You have to actually dig in deeper and say, this is what the idea is, this is how it's going to work, this is how it's going to make money, this is how it's going to succeed, these are the things that I require, this is the money I'm asking for, and with this money, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to spend that money, and this is the result of this phase. So you need to have extreme clarity on what you're planning to do in what period of time and how that money will be used correctly. If you can put this plan in place, it's actually very good, not just for other people, but for yourself as an entrepreneur. That plan will actually tell you how clear you are in your mind about what you're planning to do. And I think that's the key to success to any crowdfunding. So before you face the first person in that crowdfunding platform, you have to be clear with all the questions, all the answers, all the various aspects about your project and how you're going to go about it. So crowdfunding is a fantastic way of raising your initial capital, but sometimes you get only one chance and you have to put your best foot forward. For that, you need to have a clear plan. So if any of the youngsters are planning to go this route, it is important to get themselves a proper mentor, get someone who is harsh and critical about their plan, and make sure that their plan is robust before it is exposed to other people. That would be my biggest advice. After that, putting up the idea on a crowdfunding platform and raising funds, if the idea is good, is standard practice. It's something that you don't need too much guidance with, because the website itself will guide you. Depending on the nature of your product, there are various different crowdfunding platforms that cater to your needs. There are commercial ones, there are ones that deal in social impact projects. There are others that are completely social. So all these are available. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that information, sir. Especially the idea about the business plan and the amount of work to be completed before you present your business plan. So that was really good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Dr. V. Leela Vinodan sir to share a few words.
And once again, I'm very happy to start and then share an important link on this beautiful occasion. And I take the help of Sanjay Dattari sir. Sir, I just want to you to share the link for the idea pooling. So we are going to start this. So I'm just sharing the link to you so that you can post it for us.
Okay, sure.
I'll just share it to you in separate chat. So,
okay.
So I think you are the right person to inaugurate this such kind of a link to open to the younger generation, so that they will submit their ideas. So we are very happy to open the link on your hand, sir. So please share the link to everyone.
Thank you.
With few words. With a few words.
I'll be honored.
Yes, sir. With few words. Thank you, sir.
You've sent it to me?
Yeah, yes, sir. In Zoom.
In Zoom, is it?
I'll send it separately to you. Yes, separate chat.
This I have received a file.
So I would like to add on, and at this occasion, and today is also the Education Day, November 11, and it is being celebrated at as the birth anniversary of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, sir. So it's an honor for us, like you're going to inaugurate the idea pool for us. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm just opening up the document. I am not able to open it actually.
So you just post it to everybody in the chat. So we are just starting a new idea of collecting the ideas from the students.
I have got it. What do I have to do? I have to click on it.
Yes, sir, and post it to everyone back.
Okay. Sure.
Post it in
Copy
the chat.
And paste it in the chat box to everyone.
Chat box to everybody.
Okay.
Leela sir, you can just tell what it is to the crowd.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure. So once sir releases, I will tell it.
So I will post it to everyone in the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
thank you, sir.
I'm very happy to inaugurate this new initiative, and I wish everyone all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir,
for giving me the honor to inaugurate this initiative.
Thanks a lot, sir. Yeah. Sir, it is like சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல கொட்டுப்பட்டாலும் மோதிர கையால கொட்டுப்படணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. So this is such kind of occasion for us. I don't know how well I can tell it in the English, so that's why I've kept it in the native language. I hope you understand. Others also understand the same. So I think this is the right occasion that people can submit their ideas. So whatever idea it may be, even if it is in a budding stage, or if it is you are have the complete platform roadmap of it, whether you are in a stage of bringing it to a presentation or considering for investment or like that, whatever stage it may be, students and faculties, you can always welcome to submit your ideas, whatever stage it may be. So I'm very happy that we have opened such kind of a link with a beautiful person like Sanjay Dattari sir, who is keep on learning. Even at this age, he told many things which is very, very essential for everyone in their life. Even if they are going to do the entrepreneurship or not, but to lead a happy life, his words are very, very important. I completely agree with it. I'm just energized. Like I'm basically getting rejuvenated because of your words today. It was a pleasant evening for us all. I hope everyone felt the same. Thanks a lot, sir. And that too, you delivered the talk with such a smile in the face. So it is very nice to look at. So as young people, we are supposed to learn a lot from this kind of occasion. Thanks a lot for the evening, sir. Thank you. That's all from my
Thank you
side,
very
ma'am.
much. My pleasure.
Thanks a lot, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to propose I think everyone has cleared their doubts. Anyone else having any doubts? Any questions, queries? No. Okay. Thank you, sir. So we had a thought-provoking session on innovation and new ideas and contradictory ideas, as you said, this side and that side. So contradictory ideas which we thought were not possible are essentially the essence of business, as you have given a clear idea of what to do and how to go about doing in business for these young innovators and these young entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs. And this innovation cell, innovation club is all about that, bringing in new ideas and bringing in about that. So thank you again, sir, for giving us this opportunity. I would like to also place on record the thanks to Dr. Duraipandian, sir, for introducing you to us at this juncture. We also would like to thank all the management, all HODs, captains, all the staff who had worked tirelessly, especially student members who have been essentially the backbone of this club. They are the ones, even today, if you see, all the activities and everything has been undertaken by the student volunteers and student members. Young entrepreneurs bringing in their ability here also. No faculty intervention here. All the job of young entrepreneurs who are taking up the job here. So I'd also like to congratulate them, congratulate Annie ma'am for your effort, for your bringing life to this club as it has been there. So thank you once again for all the participants and everyone. Thank you one and all.
So let us listen to Bobby Kesh, what he is going to do, his gratitudinal words. Arun?
So we could have said.
I think he's supposed to do the closing.
Yes, ma'am.
You can unmute him.
Tarun, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, but my video is not being, I'm not able to unmute my video.
Okay, Ma, you carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Gratitude makes sense of your past, brings peace for today, and create a vision for tomorrow. I thank Mr. Sanjay Dattari, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion and to share his wonderful and inspiring thought with us. I hope we can all take a note and motivate ourselves and those around us to push much harder. I thank all the deans, HODs, faculties, students, and other participants for gracing this session and sharing your opinions with us. I thank Mr. Ruben sir for coordinating and successfully conducting such an inspiring session. I would also like to extend a hearty thanks to Dr. Annie Sam, Dr. Anita Warrior, and Dr. Leela Vinodhan for bringing together and organizing such a successful event. I thank the students and coordinating members and everyone else involved in making sure we have a smooth and well-conducted session. This is a link for your feedback form in the chat box, so please share your feedback in it. Thank you all for giving opportunity to thank and show my gratitude in this successful event. Over to Aditya.
Thanks, Tarun. Once again, thanks a lot, everyone, for attending this session. And thank you, sir, for making it wonderful today. And it was very inspiring speech. And we all will become an entrepreneur one day. And I'm sure the world will see it, I guess, and under your guidance. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All the very best.
Thanks a lot, sir.